What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Jurassic World Evolution 2. We are back once again, and this time I'm thinking about building a little research facility. I'm going to try and recreate Mantah Corp Island, or Mantah Corp Island, however you say it. Now, some of you have requested me to do this, but I don't know how I'm going to go about it, because there are like at least 3 different biomes. So yeah, this isn't really... It's going to be a park where the creatures are going to be contained, but there's going to be, like, 3 sections. And here's what I'm thinking. So what I'm thinking for this, it's going to be, like, 3 different sections. We got the desert section, the snow section, and the redwood section. I believe there's also a swamp section as well. And there's also going to be the Nothosaurus and whatever. But yeah, we're going to start with Mantah Corp Island, and we're going to do this like one section at a time. So I'm thinking we start off with the redwood section. And we're going to use invisible fences to like give off the illusion that these creatures are roaming free. I mean, the illusion is we never had control, but still, you know? It's all about control with these movies, isn't it? Like, who's in control and all that. So if we look at the list of, like, dinosaurs that were in Mantah Corp Island, I'm going to take a screenshot real quick. So we're going to have the 2 T-Rexes, of course, Big and Little Edie. We're also going to have Brachiosaurus, Dilophosaurus, Ceratosaurus, Stegosaurus, Spinosaurus, Pteranodon, Ankylosaurus, Baryonyx, Dimorphodon, Carnotaurus, and Compsognathus. So, what I'm thinking... Here's what I'm thinking. For the redwood area, we'll put in the T-Rexes, maybe the Kentro. Yeah, we'll put the Kentro in there. We'll put Pierce in there. We'll also put in maybe a couple of Ankylosaurs. And, like, maybe the Raptors. There's also, like, 3 Raptors or something. And the Spinoceratops we'll obviously put in the snow section. And maybe the Stegos we'll put in the redwood section. We should probably make this like a lot bigger, shouldn't we? Yeah, I want to see how this would like work in a way, you know. So all right, we'll worry about that in a minute. Let me just make the expansions. I need to make sure the enclosure is like relatively big. Like I want it to be like 3 little sanctuaries. So instead of like 1 big sanctuary like I normally do, we'll have like 4 smaller ones. Yeah, we'll have the redwoods, the swamp, the snow, and the desert. The desert might be a little tricky because the sand is pretty dark in this biome. Oh, let's see how the sand looks. You know what? That could work. The sand could work for that. Let's like... fill this area with, like, maybe dirt. Much better. Much better. And then we'll add, like, a bunch of forest over here as well. Let's get the forest going. It won't be, like, redwoods. I mean, I'm sure there's, like, redwood trees here. But here's, like, a bunch of forest surrounding this area. Can we have, like, redwood trees or something like that? Alright, here's some trees. Taiga. Okay, we got some redwood trees. We could throw some redwood trees here. They're kind of redwood. Or would we go for the alpine? Would taiga make more sense or alpine? We're gonna add dinosaurs in, don't worry. I'm just trying to make this enclosure as homey as possible for the dinosaurs. I probably should have used Biosyn Valley for this, but I wanted to use like something a little different, like a map that I don't normally use. I'm just gonna scatter this like all over the facility. Alright, that looks a little better. That looks way better. Alright, so we have some like open land for some of the dinosaurs and whatever. And then Let's get the dinosaurs going now. Let's move on to the dinosaurs. So, we kind of need like a relatively advanced hatchery. Additional bays. Now, this is kind of supposed to be like accurate towards the Biosyn, or not Biosyn, Mantah Corp Island in a way. So we got the redwood area. So we got a lot of forest and whatever. So What I'm going to end up doing is putting a lot of carnivore feeders here. So the dinosaurs can at least eat. Or the carnivores. They'll at least have their food. Alright, we'll start off with like a bunch of herbivores. So maybe for the Kentro, we'll start with the Kentros. Just so we have them. So I guess we'll just have the one. We'll name him Pierce. And what else do I want to put in? What else do I want to put in here? Alright, we got Brachiosaurus, we got Ankylosaurus, Stegosaurus. But yeah, I'm only putting in creatures that, like, were in the show. There are other creatures that were in Biosyn Valley, but I'm not going to add them in. Or not, I keep calling it Biosyn Valley. Mantah Corp Island. We could throw Brachiosaurus, Stegosaurus, and maybe Ankylosaurus. Or would Ankylosaurus fit the desert biome a little more? Maybe it'll fit the desert. And as for the carnivores, we'll put in the 2 T-Rexes, the Raptors, and maybe the Combies. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Alright, so we'll throw in Brachiosaurus and Stegosaurus. Alright, Brachiosaurus and Stegosaurus. We'll have what's his face? We'll have Pierce live alongside the Stegos. I have combat turned off, so we should be safe for now. So that'll be our 3 herbivores. So what do we need? Ground fiber, pretty much. And, so we need ground fiber, tall nut, ground fiber, and ground fruit. Alright, cool. So let's fill this area with, some ground fiber, so at least we have food anyway. Yeah, that could work. A bunch of forest. That's kind of looking nice, I would say. Alright, let's get the, let's get Pierce in here first. He'll probably be the only Kentro in here. Unless I should have put him in the desert. I might put him in the desert. We'll worry about that once we get there. And you know what? In the meantime, what I could do, just in case, we will throw in a response facility. Just in case I decide to do that in the future. You guys will have to let me know in the comments down below. This is kind of like an experimental thing. Alright. Ranger team and scheduling. There we go. Alright, so that's Pierce taken care of. Let's release the Stegos next. I'm pretty sure the Stegos would be fine in the redwoods. I'm pretty sure. There we go. We got the Stegosaurs done. And finally, Ramsey, what are you doing here? What did I do wrong? All I did was release a bunch of Stegosaurs. That's all I did. Or maybe he was trying to tell me about the Stegosaurs. I turned that off because that got really annoying. There's got to be a way to disable it completely where you don't get notifications from these people, especially on single player. Or not single player, sandbox mode. This is a single player game. So, alright, we got the 2 Brachies. We should be all set to go. We've got the Stegos. We've got that. We got that. Alright, let's move on to the carnivores. So here's what I'm thinking. We add in the 2 T-Rexes, the 3 Raptors. I believe there's 3 of them. And we'll add in the Cerrado. Maybe about, I don't know, 3 Cerrados. Yeah, we'll add those in. So we'll have that going. Alright, so we'll start with the Cerrados. Let's go up here. Alright, we got the Cerrados. Let's get the 3 Raptors going. For the Raptors, I believe we could have, like, we'll go with Sonora Desert blank pattern for these guys. We'll release 3 Raptors. And then, of course, the 2 T-Rexes. Of course, Little Edie ends up being the aggressive one for some reason. We only have the one T-Rex, right? Yep, for each. Alright, while we wait for the T-Rexes to hatch, let's release the raptors first. We should have 3 raptors. These were the ones created by Mantah Corp themselves. Alright, that's cool enough, I guess. Where's the Kentros so I can name them Pierce? There we go, we got Pierce. And then let's move on to the Ceratos. And then, of course, the T-Rexes. I want to see the cinematic. Oh, wait, what the hell? Did they change the T-Rex's walking out animation? I'm pretty sure they changed it. Well, when the hell did this take place? Let's see what Little Edie looks like. Okay. That's the Giganotosaurus's walking out animation. Or was it because I didn't have the close-up? If you don't have the close-up, I guess they just walk normally? It's the only thing I can think of. Of course, we'll name you Little Edie. And then we'll name you Big Edie. Alright, we got the 2 T-Rexes. We've got the Ceratos, the Stegos, the Raptors, and whatever. So, they'll have all this space. They probably won't spread out, but we'll see what happens here. But yeah, and that's section 1 done. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. It would really help out a ton. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.